Hi everyone, myself Dr. M. Lakshmi Prasad, working as an associate professor in the Department of Data Science in Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. In this video, I'm going to discuss about what is the basics of R programming. So you can able to see what kind of programming it is and how it should be useful in various applications that and all I'm going to discuss in this video. So R is also a programming language which came from S programming language previously, and this type of language is going to be mainly used for statistical computing and graphics. So it is a GNU based project, so which is similar to the S programming language, and also similar to the S environment, so which was developed at Bell Laboratories, formerly what we called as AT&T, and now it should be Lucent Technologies, by John Chambers and his colleagues identified this. So R should be considered as a different implementation of S. So there should be some of the differences, like much coding written should be there in R programming. So that and all is going to be reduced in R programming. So R provides a variety of statistical uh, and statistical tests, time series analysis, classification, clustering, and it should also provide highly graphical techniques and then highly extensible. So S is the language which should be often for research methodologies. Nowadays, R provides an open source participation in that activity, right? So R is the language which should be mainly go for the statistical and computing, and then graphic purpose we're going to be use this environment. And previously this should be called as a GNU environment, so which is similar to the R programming S language. And this one should be developed at Bell Laboratories by John Campbell and his colleagues normally. And R should be considered as a different implementation, or there should be some differences that may be exist in between R and then S. So R provides a variety of statistical models like linear and then non-linear models, and then statistical tests also can be performed using R, and then time series analysis, classification, clustering. Like this, you can able to these things can be implemented by using R programming. So R should be before this R, S should be the language. So mainly going to be using for as research methodology. Now based on this, the R becomes should be as open source nowadays. So why should we are going to use R here? So the R is the great source for data analysis and then data visualization, data science, and then machine learning. So it should also provide some of the statistical techniques like statistical tests, and then classification, clustering, and then data reduction. So it is very easy to draw graphs using R like pie chart, bar chart, box plot, scatter plot, and so on. So mainly it is going to be used for different platforms, runs on different platforms as well, like Windows, Mac, and Linux operating system, and it is open source and free, and it has a large community support also. It has many packages that can be used to solve different problems. Okay, so why should we are going to use R is the question here. So the main reason for this R should be mainly for data analysis and visualization and data science and then machine learning purpose. So many of these statistical techniques are included in R programming, so which can be done very easily, like statistical tests and then classification, clustering, and reduction. So it is very easy to draw graphs in R programming. So previously, we are going to construct this kind of pie chart, histogram, box plot, scatter plot. Like in Excel, we are going to use this. So now the R should be the very familiar tool for implementing all this kind of bar charts, and then histograms, box plots can be very effective. So it works on different platforms as well, like Windows, Mac, and then Linux. So it should be also in open source and free, and it also have a larger community support. It has many packages as well, so that can be used to solve the different problems. Now, statistical features of R. So, what are the statistical features of R? Means, suppose if I'm going to consider this basic statistics, and then static graphics, and then probability distribution and data analysis. So these are the main some of the statistical features that are included in our programming. So if I'm going to take this basic statistics, so the some of the most common basic statistics will be mean, and then mode, and then median. So these are all the measures, or already we know as measures of central tendency. So using this, we can using or we can able to measure this central tendency very easily by using or. And then next one is static graphics. So this one should be also rich in facilities of creating and developing interest for static graphics. So normally the OR contains the functionalities for plotting types, including graph maps, and then mosaic plots, biplots, and then lists go on. Right. So like this, we can able to implement different types of plots. What we're going to be drawn, then the option is the language. We should also provide so many functionalities in this one, along with the bar chart, pie chart. We can also implement like graphic plots, and then mosaic plots, biplots as well. And then probability distribution is the other statistical features of R. So the probability and distribution plays a vital role in statistics, and by using R, we can able to easily handle a variety of types of probability distributions, like binomial distribution and nominal distribution, and then chi-square distribution, like this. So many of the probability distributions are a little bit complex while doing calculations. So by making use of, we can able to easily handle this type of probability distributions very easily, like such as binomial, what I said now. So that should be nominal distribution, chi-square distribution, and all. And the next one is data analysis. So it is also provides a large, coherent, and integrated collection of tools for data analysis. So in this case, also the R programming plays a vital role for data analysis. Right. So these are the some of the statistical features of R. So this statistical, where you can able to incorporate many of the features in basic statistics and static graphics and probability distribution, and then data analysis. So like this, we can able to implement different types of features in our programming. The next one, what are the various advantages of R? So R is the most comprehensive statistical analysis package. So as on now, technologies and concepts are mostly appear in R programming. So R programming language is an open source, and you can able to run in anywhere at any time, since this our programming is going to be supported in any kind of operating system, like Mac, Linux, and Windows, right? So that's why you can able to run this R programmings in any kind of environment. So next one, R programming language is suitable for GNU or Linux, and then Windows operating system as well. And this should be a cross platform which can able to run on any kind of operating system, and in R, everyone is welcome to provide new packages and bug fixes and code enhancements. So because of this, R become very familiar. So since everyone can able to insert new packages and then the bug fixes can be done very easily, and code enhancements should also be done more quickly as well, right? So these are the some of the advantages. So advantage is that it should be a most comprehensive statistical package, and then it should be the language for open source, and so I can able to run this anywhere at any time. And this R programming can also be suitable for any kind of operating system like GNU Linux and then Unix and Windows operating system. And R programming is a platform where you can able to run in any kind of operating system, and it should also provide new packages can be easily inserted in or, and then bugs fix should be done very easily, and code enhancement should also be done easily. And next one is disadvantages of for. So while coming to disadvantages, in our programming language, some of the standards of packages is less than the perfect is the question here. So although so many of the commands in R gives a little pressure to memory management, and so it should also be consume a lot of memory as well. So in our programming, so nobody can able to complain if something does not work, and it becomes the biggest disadvantage in R. And R programming is much slower than the other programming languages like Python and then MATLAB, right? So these are the some of the disadvantages of R. So since many of the packages are going to be inserted in R programming, so which can able to consume more memory as well as which can able to run very slow also. So nobody can able to compile this if something goes wrong, and this web programming also running very slow when compared to the other languages like Python and MATLAB. So these are the some of the disadvantages of this R programming. Next one, so what are the various applications of R here? So we can able to use R for data science mainly, and we should also give us some broad variety of libraries that should be related to statistics, and it should also provides the environment for statistical computing and design. So R is going to be used by many quantitative analysts as its parts of programming tool. So it should be also helps in data importing and cleaning. So R is the most relevant language since many of the data analysts and research programmers going to use it. Hence, it can be used as a fundamental tool for finance. So some of this major companies like tech giants like Google, Facebook, Bing, and then Twitter, Accenture, Wipro, and many of the companies are going to be used of nowadays. So these are some of the applications. So we can able to use mainly for the R programming, and this can be used for a variety of libraries which should be related to statistics. So it also provides such an environment for mainly for the statistical computing and design. So R is mainly going to be used by the quantitative analysts only. So normally the data will be of two types like quantitative and qualitative. So qualitative means which not can take any kind of measures here. So quantitative means we can able to take measures the data. So R is mainly going to be used by quantitative analysts only as a programming tool, and we should also be helpful in data importing and cleaning. So R is the most relevant language since many of the data scientists or analysts or research programmers going to be used as the fundamental tool, and many of the companies like Google, Facebook, Wipro, Accenture so are going to be widely used R as the programming language nowadays. and this should be the R Studio is the environment where we can able to run our R programs. So once you install this R Studio in our lab or PC, so this kind of environment we're going to be seeing here. So in top left corner, what we are having should be the coding editor area, and top right side, what we are having should be the details of variables what are included in the program, and bottom left should be the output of the program. And suppose if I'm going to deal with the plots, such kind of the things, I can able to see in the bottom right side of this environment, right? So the environment is a studio. That means our studio is going to be divided into four quadrants. So very first quadrant should be the coding editor place where I'm able to type the programs, and below should be the second quadrant I'm treating as the output here, and this should be code editor, and top third quadrants what we are having. So for this is mainly for variable values for seeing purpose I'm going to use, and the fourth quadrant for plottings mainly you can able to use. So like this the RStudio environments looks. So next one, syntax of or here. So how I can able to write the syntax, what kind of the things and what kind of basics I can able to learn or I can able to know. So already said, R is the most programming language for statistical computing and data analysis. So which can also support some 10,000 plus free packages in CRAN repository. So, like other programming languages, also are also having some specific syntax. So, it should be important to understand if you want to make use of its most powerful features. So, mainly the OR is mainly used for statistical computing and data analysis. So, since OR is going to be support some 10,000 plus free packages are going to be supported in CRAN repository. So this should be mainly useful for data analysis. So like other programming, so if I'm going to take C, it is having some syntax. Similarly, if I'm going to take Python, it is also having some kind of syntax. So similarly, if I'm going to take OR, so the OR also going to follow some special kind of syntax for implementing this language. So if I'm going to take the R console here, so what will happen here is uh, the console looks like this, so which is going to be point out like this arrow mark. So if I'm going to write something or print something here, suppose hello world, if I'm going to type hello world, and this should become the output of this program normally. So normally how, suppose if I'm going to write something, so print hello world, then the output should become it as hello world. So similarly, if I'm going to how to initialize the values here, so a equal to 10 and next one b equal to 20, and if I'm going to write sum is equal to a plus b, and next one, so print sum. So what will happen? The sum output screen I am able to get 30. So that was simple. In R, we can able to take the values. So by adding, there's a simple program for adding of two variables. Similarly, if I'm going to perform minus here, so I can able to write simply. I can able to write it as a minus b. Similarly, if I'm going to place multiplication star and then division. So normal Python programming, how it's in Python in similar fashion. Also, you can able to write in R program. Also, that much simple the R. And our sessions we'll see now. So our sessions means our programming is going to be done in two ways. So either by command lines on the screen inside the OR session, or you can able to save the commands as a script file and executing the entire file in OR. So that is the way you can able to run this R commands. So the R programming is going to be done in two ways. So one is through command lines on the screen, or I can able to save the commands as the script file and then can able to execute entire file at a time. So in order to start this R session, so first type R as the command line in the Windows or Linux operating system. So from the shell, it should be comes it as a dollar. So type R, so it can able to generate this prompt here. Okay, so the R sessions will be of two types. So first thing is that we can able to type this command lines on the screen directly in the OR session, or you can able to save the command as a script file .or, and then can able to execute the whole file at a time. And in order to start the session, what we have to do is, so just to type or in the command line in the Windows, so that or Linux, so that the dollar prompt will come. So once it comes, then you can able to get the prompt as well. So see here, working with the sessions like suppose just now what I said, how to take the variables and how to initialize the values to the variable and how can it should be done this. So inside the OR, you can able to directly execute the OR language command by typing line by line, and then press enter. The key is the terminating line of that command, and it should also going to print the next prompt. For example, if I'm going to declare the two variables as A and B here, and the value should be 5 and 6, then sum is going to be stored in C. So how can I able to do this next? So this is the arrow that should be the starting indication of that. So I'm assigning A equal to 5, and next one B equal to 6, and next one I'm adding A plus B. Sorry. And just show C means then I can able to get the result as 11 here based on the printing of C. In another session, so what is here is just typing the variable name prints in the value on the screen. So for that I'm going to show some help function like help of function name here. So in prompt, suppose I want to know how this if statement is going to work in this R programming. So at the time I'm going to make use of this help is the command here. So if I'm going to type help of this if, so it should also going to be show how this help command will, what is the syntax of this if is going to be shown as the output here, right? So these are some of the ways of implementing the sessions in our programming. So how can I able to take the values? Just simply assigning the values A equal to 10, simply assigning the values to. Next I'm going to take another variable B equal to 20. Next sum A plus B, simply adding of two variables, and just simply I'm writing print sum. You can get the values. So if I want to know how the syntax is, what is the syntax of that one particular statement or particular structure I want to know. So here in Python what we're having, so some of the structures like if else if later, nested if, undo, while. So same kind of structures also appear here, but I do the sometimes the syntax is going to be changed. So looks changed here. So for that, in order to find this, what is the structure in that OR? So help is the function, and then you have to type the function name here. So example, if help of if I'm going, so I can get the structure of if. Next one, listing the objects in our session. So just know what I said in similar fashion is going to be shown. So you can also list the names of the object in current session by make use of this ls command is there. So I want to know what are the objects in the R session. For that I want to know. So at the time I have to make use of this ls is the command. For example, start R. So A equal to 5, B equal to 6, and C equal to 8. Sum is equal to B, and then C is just type sum, then what can I be able to get the values. And if I want to know what are the objects I created in this M session, so by make use of this ls of command. So by making use of this ls of command, so what are the variables or names or objects I'm taking in this session, I can able to know. So some specific objects can be created in the current session and can be removed. How can able to remove this object that are created in our session means by make use of this rm is the command here. So by make use of this rm command, so we can able to simply remove these variables what I took here. So example previously what I said, initially I'm taking ABC values, right, and sum is another variable. If I'm going to remove that, you can just type by make use of this rm is the command here. Let's see this example how we are going to use this rm. So ls of function I'm going using initially. So what are the variables I'm taking? So a, b, c, and then sum. So this can be listed by make use of this ls of command, right? So once this ls of command is done, so I want to remove the variables like sum, I want to delete it. So at the time what I have to do is rm is the command, right? So by make use of this rm, so list equal to c of sum. So that what will happen here is this variable I'm going to be deleted. So it's just after typing this command, just type ls of what will happen. So since I removed this, so the list what are the variables I'm taking in the list, only ABC. So similarly, if I'm going to mention here, this particular variable is going to be deleted. But here, suppose if I want to delete all the variables in the list at a time, so at that time, what I have to do is, so rm, so list equal to ls of. So what will happen? The entire variables what I took in program, everything is going to be deleted here at a time. So the list will be empty here. So like this I can able to know the values of the variables, and I can also delete the variables in the R programming, right? So in order to list the items in the R programming, so I have to make use of ls is the command. In order to remove the items from the list, I can make use of rm is the command here. Okay. So if I want to delete particular variable of the list, means at the time I have to make use of this syntax. So rm equal to, so rm is the function, sorry, rm of, so list equal to c of suppose b, if I'm going to delete it, so what will happen? So the list will be after typing ls of, so what will happen? The output should be a, c, and then sum. So if I want to delete all the variables at a time, so at that time what is the command here? Rm is equal list ls of. After typing this ls, so none of the variables is going to be printed. So next one is data types. So in many programming languages, data types we can already study like in C, Java, Python, right? In our programming also we can able to see some of the data types. So the variables are not going to be declared in Python as we see in Python. So here also no need of declaring a variable, but the data types will have to be known. So the variables that are assigned with the all objects and the data type of all becomes the type of the variable. So there are many type of or objects that are going to be used frequently here. So like vectors, lists, matrices, arrays, vectors, and then data frames. So these are the various data type that is going to be used in our program. Okay, so list vectors, so vectors already know, and then lists, and then matrices, array, factors, and data frame. So these two are the extra uh, data types that is going to be seen in R programming. Okay, so the variables are going to be declared as some data type in R programming, and the variables what I took here, that is going to be assigned to the all objects, and then the data type of the object should also become the data type of the variable only. So variables and objects both are same. If the variable is int and the data type of the object is also becomes int only, and the sum of the data types will be vectors, list array, factors, and then data frames. And some of the operators also studied in C and Python. So here on our programming, the what kind of normal operators what we're getting here is arithmetic operators, relational operators, logical operators, assignment, and miscellaneous operators. So arithmetic operators already know, so plus, minus, star, division, and modulus. And relational means greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, like this. Unlogical means logical and unlogical, or an assignment operator equal to, and some of the miscellaneous operators also available in R programming. And along with that R programming, so we are also having the functions here. So by making use of this function, so also you can also include in R programming. So normally the function should be a building blocks of the program, so which can able to reduce the code, and you can also execute the recursion in R programming as well. And when we are going to be make use of this function, so have to be known the what is the function name, and then function body should be followed, and function call is also important. So first one should be function, a declaration have to be known, and then function body is important, and then function call is important. These three are very important for implementing a function here. So normally how the function is going to be created, or should be by make use of command function of. So by make use of this function of, we can able to create the function name, and the general structure of the function creating a function or should be looks like this. Therefore we have to create the function name and function, what is the function, and we can able to pass the arguments, and we have to write the statements in the body of the function. So already there are different types of functions like function function with arguments and without written values, and with argument with written values, and with arguments without arguments, and without written values, without arguments, and with written values. So like this we're having four categories of function here. So that type of categories also going to be followed in our programming, and recursion also going to be used here. And this function normally what we are going to be seeing here is this part of this code is going to be seen in C and as in Python here. So and this should be the extra part what we are going to be add in our programming. So in C and Python what we are just writing the function name and the arguments are passing here, and function body you are writing. But here extra thing is that only this assignment, the function name is the extra thing that we are going to be added in our programming. Right? Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.